See what I'm saying? I don't know if that would work.
So
Good. I mean, what I've got is only a structure
Right.
that we can work off of.
So like if you took 419 times 3,000,
So here's an example. So I did my parents, they're elderly people, 2 people, live in a house, through home, big home. They averaged just over 4,000 gallons for the last 3. Their water that they pay, their consumption was $15.29, $13.75, $12.97. So now what you're proposing is bill them $21 for each of those months. So yeah, it doesn't maybe sound like a lot of money to you, but when your prescriptions have gone up, your
no, I understand that.
everything else has gone up, it's a lot. Yeah, your big commercial people that are using hundreds of thousands of gallons, they're gonna pay the same $21 instead of the thousands of dollars that they were paying. That's a loss. You are done. You are not gonna get that back. But those poor seniors that are on a fixed income as it is are paying $5 more, $10 more because they are not using that water. That's my problem. That's my issue.
And that's where my suggestion is, can you get it where that base fee is like, say, 3,000 for residential?
Make it 1,000. Make it easy.
I don't care,
Make it
you
1,000.
know, make it low enough to where it doesn't hurt those low
Correct.
consumers. And then modify the commercial piece. So it grabs, how many 20,000 plus users do we have? I mean, they're.
Well, apartments and motels and hospitals, and there's more than you think.
Residential and commercial. We got 1,521, according to Mr. Stillwell's report. That was less than 1,000
5 by
gallons.
5, guys.
1,521, but that's residential and commercial. If you just want residential, it's 1,351. So those people would pay for the first 1,000 gallons and every gallon after that. So those are all the people, if you do it at 5,000, are going to get hurt because they're paying less. They're making up for everybody who uses the 5,000 gallons.
Absolutely.
So there'll be.
Make it 1,000.
Charging, so.
So
that's
make it
the
1,000,
key.
make it 1,000.
You make it 1,000, problem solved.
Make it 1,000. Make residential the 419, 1,000 after that.
Yep.
Make the all commercial the 2 cents a gallon after that.
Yes.
And try to bring in the 20 cents later for the.
Here's the thing with the 2 cents. Here's the thing with the 2 cents over 5,000 gallons. Think about your hospitals. Think about your schools. Can they really take that kind of hit? Your counties, I mean, they're going to be paying. So I asked for a report 2023. At that time, they would have paid $2,300 a month. Right now, they would be paying like thousands more, 12,000.
And so you don't think commercial should pay to help pay this debt?
I don't think they can sustain that. I don't think you can go from $2,000 a month to $12,000 a month. Do you think the hospital could take on another $10,000 a month? Do you think the school system could take on another $1,000? Guess, and guess who's gonna pay it?
And-
All of us are gonna pay it because it's gonna come back and ask for taxes to pay it.
How do you propose?
Well, somebody's got to pay it, either the residents or the commercial.
Point of
It
order,
sounds like,
you have to recognize.
I'm sorry.
But, I mean, none of them are in the room, so I guess they don't care. My concern is these people. So whatever that is.
Let's do the 1,000.
And why are we going to 2 cents a gallon when we've always
Leave it the way it is.
been at like 0.003 or 0.004? Why are we at 2 cents now?
2 cents a gallon at 5,000 gallons is $100. That covers the 2 maintenance fees and the 2 debt fees. It's
Oh.
$98. That's what it does. That's what that's for. If everybody, every commercial, like say every motel that went over 5,000 or every apartment, they're gonna pay another debt service fee. That's what that 2 cents is.
Yeah, but so am I when I water my lawn this summer.
You're gonna be on winter averaging.
Not for watering my lawn in the summer. I pay for water usage
You agreed to go to the 417, 1,000
We're not.
straight across,
on residential.
straight across. Okay.
Commercial can go to the 2 cents a gallon. That's the only way we have of using usage as the formula to bill apartments, trailer parks RV parks, multi-users. That's the only way we can figure out how to get it. And the 2 cents equates to $100 bill every 5,000.
So all businesses are
Good to
gonna
see
be
you guys
making
all in
up
here.
for multi-users.
So they booted me out at the meeting, everyone. So we had to end the
Online
last
people
live.
make
We
up
just fired this
usage.
back up.
Yes.
We do have our hand up.
Thank you.
We're ready to speak on it. Appreciate y'all being here.
Why
Sorry we
wouldn't
didn't get the
you
whole
want
thing.
Anybody who uses more than 5,000 to pay a little more
This is
on the
good
bill.
stuff.
They're paying for usage.
Huh?
They're paying for usage. They've been paying for usage and they've also been paying all these fees.
They pay only one fee, no matter how many gallons they use. Right?
Mayor Vasani,
Go ahead, Carmen, one more time, but you quit. You back.
for commercial, so are you proposing 5,000 gallons at whatever rate you're doing? I don't know what the rate is.
Every 5,000 gallons, the 2 cents would be $100 bill. That'll,
So what's their first 5,000?
first 5,000 will be at the, well, one set of, they have one set of fees because they have 1 meter.
Correct.
So the one set of fees will be in there.
So what-
Plus however many gallons they use times what it is a gallon, huh?
Is it the 21 or the 40?
No, if we're going by how it was, it's 5 something 1,000 plus their fee.
It's different for a multi-use.
Multi-user, that's all they pay. They don't pay nothing else. They just pay extra water.
Only paying 1 fee.
Here's the thing, if you have somebody who's got a hotel and they have 5 units and you're at 5,000 gallons and they use less than 1,000 gallons each for each unit, you have to go to, that's the first one that paid, you gotta go another 5,000 gallons. That's 5 units, and when you're supposed to charge per unit, and I'm not saying to do that. But I'm saying if you do the 5,000 and then you prorate it, you have to get to the 10,000 gallon mark to get those fees again.
No, that's why it's 2 cents a gallon. Your prorate,
2 cents for a 5,001. Okay, so you're paying the base plus the 2 cents, but you don't get to the full charges until you hit that 10,000 mark.
at 2 cents a gallon.
Can I say something?
If,
Carmen.
I don't know why I can't understand. 5,000 is your first base. If you pay 7,500, that's halfway. You're gonna pay $50 extra. So you're gonna be paying 1.5 times the apartment. If you make it to 10,000, you're paying twice for that 2 apartments. If you make it to 15,000, you're gonna be paying for 3 apartments. And that's the way everybody wanted it. They wanted it based on usage.
Math is wrong.
Why is it wrong?
You have to get to that 5,000. If you're doing 5,000 blocks of 5,000, you have to get past the next 5,000 to get those second set of fees. Then you have to go another
We
5,000.
prorated it by the gallon, so it didn't work that way. I mean, I don't know what you don't.
Can I say something right there? Okay, so you're looking at the individual, you're looking at that individual customer, okay? At that, yes, okay. Think of our water sitting out at 2 cents a gallon. Overall, system wide, that's what we're looking at. So it's not. See what I'm saying?
Okay, let's get another few ideas in here. I think Blair was next.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Blair Stutzman, BLAIRSTUTZMAN. Thank you for letting me speak. I don't live in Walsenburg, but I do business in Walsenburg. And like Brian said, and everybody else, I've been watching this happen since 2016. And this didn't just happen. This has been going on. Your infrastructure is failing. It's been failing. No one's ever done anything about it for the last 50 years. This seems to be just like everything else. It's a very big concern, and it's affecting everyone, and now everybody's worried about it, and everybody's arguing. And if everybody would have done this years ago, we wouldn't be here now. And yeah, I'm right here with you because I'm trying to help too, but everybody's going to have to pay more. You're already paying an enormous. I live in Maryland, and my wife and I live alone. I'm 68. We used 3,053 gallons last month and we paid $36.51 for all sewer, water, all of it. I use no water there and the bill's $95. So we all have to pay somewhere along the line because there's no one else coming in right now and there's only a certain amount of citizens and you got a bill you have to pay. So you got, however you do it, the bills are going to go up. But if everybody just tries to remember that this isn't really no one's fault, this has been going on, and just try to get along and get together, and together we win with this. Okay. It's very frustrating. So I had a couple of questions for the young lady. TJG, are you with Cassell? Could I ask you a couple of questions, please?
Yes.
Okay. So the first one is, this has been going on since 2021 and everything, and I understand the readings and everything. So why has this been going on this long? Number one, I would ask. And I understand the readings. Yeah, that's something. So why hasn't this been fixed before this? Number one.
I was just barely contacted this last month asking if I could come on board to be able to help to fix this issue. I don't know if it was requested prior to that by anybody else.
You're right, Marty. It is a beautiful town. Unfortunately, they are being held down. There is no growth.
You never heard what they got trained on.
And I don't know when that was, so I have no idea.
The
Okay.
consensus back then was we had like 8 or 9 different types of meters. They didn't talk the same. We had the multiplier issue and they thought new meters would solve this. I think as soon as we get them all in and we get through this phase, possibly it'll be fixed.
And again, I'm not trying to blame anybody at all. So, ma'am, what you're really saying is the problem probably has been that the meter readings aren't right? That's probably the main reason. They've been estimated for a very long time. I believe that's
agree.
what I know of. So really, it's basically if you get good numbers in, you get good numbers out.
Correct.
Okay. Because that's what I've been seeing for the last 3 years is that I don't know how this could work with all the numbers, including my own. And then, yeah. And the other thing I like to say with the water bill, and I know Veronica and some other people have a problem with this, to where people are having their bill cut off and then cut back on and all that. You know how that works? I'm one of those people. Me and my friend, my partners, we had to grow. We wouldn't pay our bill and it would be late and I'd pay the bill and they would cut the water off, but the bill was paid already. Okay. So it would go into that count. That's why all the cutoffs every month, I believe, was happening. Remember back then when water was getting cut off and then turned back on for people? I was one of those people. So I don't know if everybody else's was like that and other people were doing that, but that's why mine was. And I know everybody's frustrated, as I have been too, with this, but we need to give everyone a chance. We've been through a lot of mayors, administrators, financial administrators. This has been going a long time. So let's just be patient, please, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Stacy.
Hi. So, all right, we got a lot of things going on here tonight and a lot of back and forth. Mr. Mayor, you've explained yourself multiple times, so please stop doing that. Go back to city council meetings and you can see what's going on. The free 0 to 1,000 is what seems like it may have broken the system. That should have been the base fee. It shows a $0 on the bill. It should just be the base fee. That $419 for 0 to 1,000. Joe, you and I talked last night. Quite frankly, $21 base fee. That's going to hurt more people. It's going to help. Quite frankly, when I'm hearing everything tonight, Rick, Nick, you are my representatives. Mr. Mayor, you're my representative as well. Please vote no on this because, quite frankly, we need to have more discussions. I'm tired of this talking. I'm tired of the back and forth. I'm tired of all the stuff with this. It sounds like, quite frankly, if Cassell allowed us to bill at the 0 to 1,000 at the base rate fee at 4.19, basically 4.2, and anything over 5,000 was at whatever amount per gallon afterwards we'd be set. And quite frankly, we have more people on fixed incomes in this town than not. And if you're over 5,000 gallons, quite frankly, yeah, you should be paying more. I don't care if you're paying 10,000 more, I'm paying 20,000 more. If you're using that much water, yeah, you should be paying for it, quite frankly. So tonight, for this ordinance, we could end this meeting right now by saying, nope, we're not going to vote for it. And we're going to talk about it later. And that is quite frankly what the commission was supposed to be for, to figure out what we would recommend to council for billing. So quite frankly, bringing this ordinance to the council tonight at a special meeting is wasting a lot of people's time when it could be handled in the commission, and we can handle it basically Cassell saying, hey, if you bill it on the first 1,000 and we get solid reads, we're good to go. And quite frankly, that's all we should need to do. We could end this meeting in 20 less, and it's taken now, an hour and 15 minutes. So, Mr. Mayor, please tell everybody, vote no. Let's take this to the commission. Let's talk about this in a real situation where we're supposed to, based upon numbers. And quite frankly, and I'm certain many people in this city are tired of hearing the same thing over and over and over. And we don't need to charge $21 for 0 to 5,000. If you want to charge the 4.19 to 0 1,000, that's the base rate fee. We never should have had a free tier. That's what's broken the system. That 0.00 is what I'm hearing from a software development standpoint, broke the system. If we charge the base rate and we get some clear reads, something tells me in 3 months at $4.19 versus $21, maybe we can fix this overall. So please, let's cut everything short, vote no on this tonight, and regroup so that the rest of us can enjoy the evening and relax a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else has their hand up? Brian. Can't hear you.
Brian, are you on mute or something?
Brian,
Well, let's go to TJ Bunker.
And I'm trying to get, are we there now?
yes, I hear you.
Okay, great. Sorry. I didn't think I was that far in line, so I was patiently waiting. I would like to thank Mr. Decker. I think he echoes my sentiment a little bit here. The few notes that I was taking. First, I'd like to praise the water department for their work last night. A 2-inch water main broken out in the middle of the field in the middle of the night with a snowstorm coming in is above and beyond the call of duty. Nobody involved with that gets paid enough to have to take the ire of the citizens of this town. They're doing a great job with very little resources and very little training. And thank you, Mr. Harriman, Mr. Stillwell, for being out there with those guys. Appreciate that greatly. As a field utility worker, I've been working in water, a master plumber now for 20 years, and utility work for over 35 years. I understand how difficult it is to dig up a water line. I understand how difficult it is to patch all those things back in. The cost of that is outrageous at best. With some of the best tools and the best crews in Denver, we still struggle to make those budgets. This city needs more money. We need more money to pay more hands. We need more money to pay for better tools. We need more money to pay for more materials. There is no way to pay for water without raising rates. I'd like to repeat myself. There is no way to pay for these things without raising the rates. For all of the people that say we can't afford it, I'm very sorry. Nobody can really afford it. 2 cents per gallon does not seem like too much money for anybody. If the water that you need to live is not worth 2 cents a gallon to you, then I suggest leaving Walsenburg and Huerfano County. That it's to me, it's easy for me to sit here because I can afford that. I get paid well. And
Do you know what our
understand.
population is?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I serve this population every day. I understand. Sir, you can put
You
your
should
finger
tell me.
down. That's a contempt of court. Thank you for
Don't
that.
worry that.
Sir, listen, we all eventually are going to be on fixed income. My parents are on a fixed income. My grandparents were on fixed income. I am going to make very little in Social Security, so I'm preparing for that. But that's a little rant there. I would like to say that commercial and schools, hospitals, they have a way to recoup that money, and that the
Yes.
citizens and the residents should not be, that we shouldn't be responsible for hospitals, schools, and grows to pay for their water bill. They have a way to recoup that. There's federal funding, there's grant money, there's taxes to be raised. Nobody wants to pay more taxes. Nobody wants to pay more taxes. I totally understand that, but I pay for schools and hospitals. I don't have children, and I've been in that hospital twice in 5 years, but I still pay for those taxes. I pay for my water here. I have a building in Walsenburg that we've got water leaks there, and we don't even have heat in the building at this point. So as far as Miss Mays, you said you don't want to pay extra because you want to be able to water your lawn in the summer. That is not a responsibility of a city councilman to determine whether or not your lawn looks good. You should be fiscally responsible to the citizens.
It's about our whole community and making our whole community look good. And I do pay higher rates to water my lawn. What I'm saying is I don't want to decide if I want to feed my family or water my lawn. I want our community to look well, and that all costs money. I want to see the courthouse dry up because they're not paying 2 cents a gallon to water it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And I understand that. I don't think that. So
Yeah,
my
You apparently
proposal.
don't care about anyone.
Point of order, we're getting off task. We'll go to the next one.
Sir, if I could ask, according to the internet, which nobody really wants to trust, Denver Water says that the average gallons usage by a person is 8,100. That's 3,000 per person per month. If there was a way to make that 5,000 stop, that's a 2-person household for average water. I would agree with Miss Laura that we should charge per gallon every 1,000 gallons after that. No matter commercial, residential, if you're using more water, you should pay for more water. Thank you.
Okay. Who else got their hand up? I can't read them.
Hey, Bunker.
Good evening. How's everybody tonight?
Oh.
Just had a few questions here. How many people in the room know who Good Citizen Media is?
No one.
Nobody cares.
Okay, so there's a couple of hands and there's a few of you not raising your hand, I see. Can I ask why I was removed from the meeting? Did I cause an issue? Or is this just stopping me from disseminating this information to the public?
I'm a good citizen, I
He
think.
didn't have his name on.
The top of the Zoom instructions say you have to have your name or your video on.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
do you understand what viewpoint discrimination is?
Oh, Lord.
sure.
Have you ID'd everybody that came into the room?
Nobody
understand
cares who
there's
Good
multiple
Citizen
names?
is.
Easily.
You
Everybody
understand
else
there's
shows their
multiple
face. You can
names?
show your face. You have anything to talk about on this issue?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, is the
Okay.
people want to know. You have maybe 40 people in here at most. You're stopping the public from gathering knowledge. You should cease and desist that.
Okay, is that it?
I can tell you Dan Hyatt knows exactly who Good Citizen Media is.
Okay.
I would correct the problem.
We
Thank you.
did. You
Have a
put
good
your
night.
name.
All right.
Email Sandoval.
Dee, are you there?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Dee Sandoval, DeeMaes Sandoval. First of all, Mr. Geis, I would like to thank you for recognizing the patriarchy here tonight. As you stated, you thought you were further down in the line, and 3 gentlemen were called before myself, Cynthia Cresswell, and I believe Jeanette Cosson, but that's okay. We stayed the course because we want our chance to speak too. So I don't know what happened tonight, that people got out of line, because you usually do read them in the order that they sign on. So I hope you give me the time that you've allotted everyone else during this. My first comment is, thank you, Mr. Stillwell, for pointing out at the beginning of the meeting that this is not something that you came up with, that this is something that was brought to you. All you did was give the number of the 419 based on the 5,000 that was being proposed. So that helped that. I would like to address the lady from Cassell, because I've said all along, I've worked with many systems in the time that I was working, and I couldn't believe that a system could not recognize different rates, different and what you're allowed to do in each. Does sound like Cassell can bill and recognize the first 1,000 free. Is that true, Teresa?
Yes.
Okay, because from what I heard, that was the problem, that the system could not recognize that. With that being said, and in listening to you talk, ma'am, thank you. It sounds like it's a pretty user-friendly system, and that if it is configured correctly, it will work the way that it needs to work. And I'm inclined to believe that because many governmental agencies use this system. So with that being said, we have to believe that prior to Mr. Stillwell coming on, that there was just negligence or laziness or people not wanting to use the system the way that it was meant to use. Now, we can't go back and change that. I get that. But let's stop that narrative that the system was what was causing the problems. Mr. Mayor, you state that everyone needs to pay their fair share. And regardless of what Mr. Geese says, Walsenburg, my hometown, the majority of the people there are aging citizens who live on a very fixed income. So let's not talk about those of us who are fortunate enough to be able to pay increases in our monthly debts. Let's look at our senior citizens, those who are we should be trying to take care of and help figure out how to make this equitable for them. That's what we need to be thinking about. Those are the people that have served that community all their lives. Let's give them some honor. I do think you're onto something here with finally taking a look at, 5,000 gallons isn't the magic number. Take that down a notch or two, and let's make sure that this is equitable for everyone. And as Councilperson May says, I too believe you want to keep your hospitals, your schools, all of those entities in mind, because they're what makes Walsenburg go. So do this with some serious thought from more than just Mayor Visani and Councilperson Mays. And I will go back to Mayor Visani and ask you, did the Utility Commission come up with this? Because it wasn't discussed in the last meeting by the Utility Commission. There was no decision made to come up with these numbers at the last Utility Commission.
No, a lot of those numbers come from there. The majority of the business owners wanted the rates based on usage, and they wanted prorated per month. In other words, they didn't want a fee jump. As soon as you hit 5,001, you got another $100. So we done the 2 cents. The 2 cents covers a prorated amount per month.
I understand that, Mayor. What I'm saying,
the Utility Commission come up with all of that, and that's what's part of this.
when did that happen, Mayor? When did that happen, that the Utility Commission came up with that? Please refer me to the meeting that they came up with that.
That's what all the people that come to the meeting, the citizens said. I'm using
I
them.
was at that last meeting. There was not a decision made. People talked, but there wasn't a decision made. You abruptly ended that meeting, if you remember. It's on video. Let's be honest.
I'm being honest. That's where the numbers come from.
Those
There
were
wasn't
your
a
numbers,
form.
Mayor. That wasn't voted on by the commission. You know that as well as I do. We can both look at the meeting
It's a
together.
commission to get input from the public. That's what that commission is for. That's where it come from.
Mayor Bazzani, can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
So you said that's what the businesses wanted. So these are the multi-use businesses that were here. These weren't your high volume users. These weren't the schools, the hospitals, those people that this would really affect. This wasn't their idea. These were people that were multi-users and knew it would affect them, and that was their request, correct?
Because we was addressing multi-users.
Right, that's what I'm saying, and it's their request. So they don't care about the hospitals and the schools and all the other businesses, and those businesses didn't realize that this was gonna affect them as well.
But they may be fine with it. These people were fine. I don't know why they wouldn't be fine. You done, Dee?
Thank you, yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
Jeanette Costin?
Jeanette?
Hi, this is Jeanette Costin. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, this meeting was quite informative. What I was going to talk about isn't what I was going to talk about. I just have a couple of questions. Does everybody have brand new meters now in Walsenburg?
No, yeah. Almost. We
Well,
got 300 or so
I
to go.
think, okay, I think that the TJG, I think that what's going on is you just need to get those 3 months. I don't think you need to raise rates until you actually find out, when the multi-users end up paying their fair share, then I think that's when you can decide what the actual price is going to be. But I think once the meters start working, we won't have a problem anymore. But I think that the multi-users should pay their fair share because they're not paying anything. And that's why we're behind on money, is because they're not paying a dime. And it's not fair to the people that do. But I thank you for listening to me, but I hope you all work it out okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And I'm hoping to get everybody paying their fair share. And that way the single family homes, we could possibly lower their rates. That's what the whole,
Yeah, but
the whole goal.
I hope that, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm done.
I hope that you don't raise our rates and you don't know when you're gonna get those multi-users, but
I'm
we
not gonna,
shouldn't have
I'm
to
not
pay
gonna
for
raise
that.
no rates right now. That is not the,
Okay, I just hope that you vote against this and look more into it.
well,
Because
just,
once these people, the meters start working right, that'll be fixed, and then you can work on how much to raise the rates at that time.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cynthia Cresswell?
Cynthia?
Good evening.
Hi.
I've got some notes. I have to refresh myself since you started from the bottom up. In listening to Teresa, I'll use Teresa since Mr. Stillwell did rather than calling you TJG. Thank you for the information that you provided regarding Cassell's abilities and inabilities. At our last meeting, we were told that Cassell could not handle the 0
Where's
to
John's
1,000
hand?
or the tiers. And in listening to you tonight, that was indeed not the truth. So that being said, thank you very much.
I'm gonna have to go tell this mayor, fuck you to his face, I guess.
Just rates if they get the correct reads. So that's another point of fact there.
This mayor's ignorant as shit.
Let's see. In regards to wanting to do a flat rate for 3
Maybe we'll call
months,
Dan Hyatt for breakfast tomorrow, you people.
number one, the residential and the commercial should not be the same flat rate. If you're gonna do a flat rate for 3 months for a test, you wanna do the 21 for the residential, then at least do 25 for the commercial. Make it look like they're paying their fair share instead of straight across the board, because renters, landlords, we don't get to write off water. Businesses make a profit, so that kind of makes up the difference of the water usage. Also, this is a first reading for approval for ordinance 1195, but has anybody been notified that you're saying this is only a temporary 3-month process for Cassell to be able to get everything in line? Is that a definite, or are you gonna do an increase and then at the end of that 90-day period, you're not gonna reduce the rate?
I wasn't aware of the 3 months. Joe, can you address that?
That was Cassell's time frame of us doing the hand reads. And Teresa, I'm sorry, I kind of misspoke right there on the 1,000 with you. That was actually Kim that suggested that.
Okay.
Well, and I had a question
So-
also about the rate, because somebody there was saying that the accountant said that it was supposed to be the 4.19, but that's only 4,000. That doesn't match up to the $21, if that's the case.
Well, for 5,000 gallons, it's close. It's almost 21.
Yeah.
It's 5 cents short.
But the system doesn't bill that way. Do you see what I mean? The first 1,000 is going at 0, according to Cassell.
Right.
Then the next 4,000 is going at the 419, which is only 1686, I think.
If you don't that way, yes.
So it's not matching the $21. So I think that's where Joe came up with the idea that we should do a base amount for the 419. So it was a difference to bring you up to what your structure actually says it's supposed to be billing.
Correct.
Okay.
I think the
Does that make sense?
heartache, I think, is that people that don't use maybe 1,000, they have to pay for 5,000. That's a big issue.
That's what you said, per 1,000 gallons, not per 5,000 for residents. Per 1,000 gallons, starting with your first one to your 1,000, $4.19.
Correct.
Then your 1,001 to 2,000 is another $4.19. And your 3 all the way up to 2,000.
The ordinance tonight shows $21 for the first.
Just stop.
Right?
Change it.
I know, but that's what it says. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, and this is just an approval of the first reading. This is not an approval
Right.
of the ordinance, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
The ordinance.
okay.
I don't even know what you're gonna do.
Ms. Laura, Ms. Laura, excuse me, I have the floor. Please. Early on in this meeting, Mayor, you stated that we were having to raise the rates again in order to cover the bank requirements for the debt service. My understanding is through the survey and the rate increase that we got in July, we met that. So why would you make that statement tonight that we needed to raise rates in order to meet the bank requirements?
I got an email from the bank just days ago. We have to meet with them February 5th. They don't think we met it. It's possibly just a miscommunication, but I got Todd Mihelich, who helped us with the rate study and assured us that this was taken care of after February 5th. I'll know more about it.
Thank you.
After February 5th.
Mute your mic, Dee.
What's that?
I mean, we only have the
your
rates
mic.
in place for 6 months.
I didn't hear.
No, I was asking for a mic to be muted. Okay, also, when you talk about us not having met, and Mr. Blair Stutzman made a statement that, we all have to pay an increase in water rates, as Mr. Geis did so eloquently. There seems to have been an off and on payment issue with the PIFs for Northlands. So the statement may be made that everybody has to pay their fair share, then it should not be a hit and miss for Northlands. It should be a month to month to month, just like the rest of us. So that needs to be something that's covered and enforced and not allowed to miss monthly payments. This is just my opinion.
Sorry.
Um,
I
in-
apologize, Cynthia.
Oh, okay, no worries. In regards to you saying that the quality of our water is fine and that you drink it, kudos to you. Like the lady said, pregnant women, people with underlying medical conditions, compromised immune systems have all been, it's been recommended not to drink the water. When I wash my clothes, the water fills up yellow. My clothes come out smelling dirty. They do not come out smelling clean. And the turbidity, if you take a bath, you got to give it 5-10 minutes for everything to settle around the side of the bathtub. And by then your water's cold and you either get in a cold bathtub or not. So it's questionable as to the quality of the water. So that's another issue. And I know that's something that has to be dealt with down the road. But let's see, is that on my notes? I think that's kind of pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. I also will say I've watched the last 2 or 3 of the water committee meetings, and I also did not hear these particular rates that have been presented tonight addressed at any of the last 3 meetings that I watched. So it would be nice maybe if that committee, if it stays in effect, actually does kind of a status report on the water, what you're talking about, what you're not talking about, even if it's.
Well, this lady sure did get a lot longer than 3 minutes,
Whereas
didn't she?
our rate
They were
right
shutting
now
me the fuck down as soon as I
great.
said good evening.
That it's only that. And again, residential versus commercial does not need to be the same. So I hope you listen to everybody that's voicing their concerns and their opinions tonight. Take it to heart, take it into consideration before you bring this ordinance up for a second reading. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jennifer Novak.
Yeah, a couple more and then we're gonna move on. Jennifer?
Jennifer Novak.
Okay. Yep, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I took out my last bill just to kind of look at it to try to figure out how our bill would be impacted with this flat rate that we're doing. And by looking at it, I honestly have no idea what we're supposed to be paying per gallon for water. We have 3,700 gallons of usage and our water was $11.33. So when I did the math at $4.19, it would increase our current bill up to maybe $5, $6, somewhere in there. But if you do the $21 rate at what we would be paying, it's going to send our bill to over $200 every month. And that's crazy. Most people cannot afford that. And that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, we are not raising anybody's rates. Let's get that straight. Nobody's rates are going up.
But if it's a $21 flat rate per the first $5,000 or first 5,000 gallons, that would make our bill go up. It would go up over $10.
We've already decided we're not going to use the 5,000, the $21. We're going to use a smaller amount to accommodate current billing. To get through
Okay,
this.
thank you.
Yes.
Robert Ellsworth.
Robert.
Good evening, everybody. So a few things. Yeah, looking at it the way that's written currently right now, I see it as, I understand what you're saying. You're not voting on it tonight as the up to 0 to 5,000 gallons at 21. And the reason I'm saying that is because my fledgling commercial business on 7th Street, averaging 100 gallons of use per month. That would really hurt to get hit with that high rate. And the question is on my residents, I don't believe I have the new water bill in yet. My water meter, that's what I meant to say, I don't think I have the new water meter in yet. The current water meter is actually in the basement of my house. You have to go outside into the backyard, open up the Bilco doors and go in. So when I do get the new meter, I hope that somebody will reach out to me before they actually trespass and go into my basement. So last, I agree with Mr. Decker. Vote no on this tonight. rewrite it better, but you can still proceed with the counting of usage, if that makes any sense. So I think I covered what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. One more. That's it. That's it. Good.
So can I ask a question? So are we looking at in city, out of city? I mean, is that still a thing?
Yeah.
So are we looking at different usage rates in city and out of city for residential and commercial?
In that proposal, no.
Okay.
That proposal, no.
Because in the original ordinance that was approved,
Or in city, out city.
I was just gonna say, in the original ordinance that was approved, in city residential and commercial was the same, and residential and commercial out of city were different. So we basically have three different rates. So, I mean, I definitely think we should simplify this.
Yep. That's where I was going with it, is to try to get it trainable for staff.
But I mean, I kind of feel like we need to figure out what the rate is for residential and what the rate is for commercial. I think that the fees in city, out of city, like those are kind of making up for that difference of in city, out of city. Like if we left those the same, which that's what you've done, and just come up with a flat rate for the first 5,000 and not a flat rate up to, like, for the first 5,000, this is what you pay, and then after that, this is what you pay.
Correct.
I think, yeah, I agree. We use our current rate study that we're on, use our current numbers.
Wasting that money.
Huh?
There's no use in wasting that rate study.
Oh, that rate.
That's why we kept everything at 19.
All you're trying to do is get that first month's deal.
I'm trying to get that first 1,000 out of those line items in base. Basically.
So.
One more time.
One more, I'm sorry, but I really have to clarify this now because the last lady spoke these. I appreciate the education, but I am familiar with some of Walsenburg, so I'm very confused. Are we being proactive in this rate increase? Because I have not heard about the bank saying that we met everything in February 5th, I'm guessing of 2024. So here we are now. Am I misunderstanding this?
A little bit.
In July, last January of 24, we got a letter from the bank saying they're going to raise our rates, increase our interest rates unless we meet their covenants of 120% over our expenditures. We finally, we took all of 24 all the way to July before we finally implemented the new rates.
Okay.
And Mr. Mihelich, who's our hired CPA, done the rate study along with Colorado Rural Water. They come up with this rate structure that we're currently on, and we don't want to discard that. And that was supposed to satisfy them. The trouble is, it was only for 6 months. And so the letter I got, or the email the other day, was they don't think it's going to cover it. I'm going to have Mihelich.
After that I would, but now maybe.
I'm going to have Mihelich at that meeting. He assured us that they know it's a half a year and they're going to see what it does for the entire year. So I think we can get that worked out. I'm hoping. I'll know. We're going to have a Zoom meeting February 5th, which is next week.
So if something changes with that, then would this rate increase in 3 months be refigured? Or are we being proactive here? Like I'm trying to figure out what.
I'm hoping to get some multi-user money into this mess and not have to charge the private citizens. I can't, like Miss D. Sandoval, I care about the little families. I don't want to raise them no more. I want to get somebody, these other bigger businesses helping us pay for this.
Thank you.
That's the goal.
I appreciate that clarification.
And long term, we have a lot of assets in the water basin. I would like to get some revenue generated from that somehow and alleviate a lot of this pressure on citizens. But that's going to take some doing.
So.
Veronica, was you? Go ahead.
Well, just so, do we know, I guess, so honestly, I'm just gonna be really honest here. When we had the whole work session and we talked about rates and everything, and you and I met with the accountant, it was gonna be like one rate. And then when the ordinance came to us, it was all these crazy amounts. Do we know where all of these amounts came from? Because they did not come from that initial study. I mean, where we got the different amount for out of city, in city, where we got the different numbers for commercial, like where did those numbers?
Generally speaking.
What is the number?
Generally speaking, that's more for a metropolitan area,
Right?
you know.
But that's what I'm saying. Did our former administrator make these up?
I don't know if he made them up. I know who developed the tier system.
I think the former finance director added the tiers myself. Mahelich,
Okay, somebody made them up. I don't know. Okay.
Mahelich did not have those.
I know it wasn't him, and that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
had all these different tiers?
I mean, but Mahelich, I have his and they wasn't in there, his. But we adopted the rates Mahelich used to fit that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what are those numbers?
Yeah, I have them somewhere. It'd take me a while to find them, but
I mean, I agree that like prior to the July increase,
it's actually the numbers we're working on.
right, it was 0.0038 whatever per gallon. And everybody paid the same rate. And I agree that's not the way to go. But 2 cents a gallon is not the way to go either.
That's what it comes down to. They're just going to do what they want. These guys are being investigated by the Colorado Bureau of Investigations right now because there's a bunch of money missing, but yet they need more money.
It's awful nice of them to pass that along to the people. And it sounds more like this. It sounds like what happened.
So it's just a shit show. You guys heard February
the
5th
fact-
is their next meeting. Any of the locals want to be there.
Well, I think what's really interesting, and the mayor is saying it without saying it, is the bank is looking for their loan money back. Right? So if the bank is looking for their loan,
Not only they want it back, but they put them at a higher rate because they were
Yeah,
behind.
agree on this.
yeah. Whose fault
And
is
we
that?
agree.
That's
I know that
that's
motion
them.
was
They
made.
defaulted basically, so they had to refinance at a higher rate, essentially.
It's
So,
insane.
Residential.
yeah. it's trash.
Residential per thousand.
And they just don't
In-
care.
in and out.
They raised the
In-
rates, if I remember,
Out of sale.
back in
Yeah,
July.
what about commercial?
Ronald, it's your turn. You've been waiting patiently.
So I agree. I like the 419 for the 1,000, like what you just said. But
They're
what
trash.
happens to
They just do what they
the
want. It's the
residential?
dirty bird.
We go 1,000.
You see, there's
They're
not
gonna
even
charge
hardly anybody there.
electricity.
Nobody cares.
See, that's why, no.
Somebody asked
won't purchase it.
earlier when we started off the show.
Whatever
let's
that rate
see.
is.
The whole time. Well, unless you use the tier, then you go to 5.
Marty Martinez.
He's saying
Marty
go 419.
Martinez. Seems like the town is being held down. There's no growth. Marty Martinez, that's because nobody cares. You see all those
You would
empty
have to
seats?
amend that motion and then
See all
to
that
select-
space? Nobody cares, right? And then people like us try to disseminate the information and they stop us. And nobody cares.
Because
That's what's wrong with
that's
the
what
town. It's a shithole
was the
because people don't
first
care.
1,000 gallons was
My
built
opinion.
into those
What is it?
fees. I would
Well,
like
to
to
be
roll
fair,
that
I'm not
over
sure if they don't care or if they're more
to our
worried about the
minimum
retaliation, because clearly they're
billing.
gonna get it.
To have an identifier of value in that slot that's undefined.
And I think there's an issue with the bank on giving away water. There is a.
Well, your debt covenant says you can't give it away.
We
So
can't.
that lists it.
We're giving it away. It was in the fees.
No, but according to our,
We keep saying we're giving it away. The accountant said it was factored. I get.
but according to our,
Okay, so I agree. I can concede and say 419,000 gallons from zero use to whatever, based on what your usage is. If you use 500 gallons and you paid $2.09, got it. Like, if you don't use 1,000 gallons, you're not gonna get billed for 1,000. You're gonna get billed on what you use.
No, you gotta pay the 1,000.
you gotta pay the 1,000.
419.
It's 419 per thousand bracket.
So
You know,
why
it's
can't we
funny.
do it
This
like
is
we
all
used to
based
do?
off
It
of
broke
ifs,
down to
if
zero,
they do the
zero,
correct
zero,
reading.
zero, four,
You know what I mean?
That's how we
Well,
used
if they
to do
don't do
before.
the
It used to break
readings,
down
right,
to zero, zero,
Well,
it's not gonna work, is it?
well, and no, I mean, like the CDI is after these guys
zero,
directly tied to their billing issues.
It's the same thing.
So,
It's the same thing, except you're paying for the usage
Well,
you
you know, it's
actually
funny
use.
because somebody
So, if you're eligible
earlier
for the
that came up was
100
actually showing that
yeah.
their bill was incorrect. How many
1,000
other
gallons, you
people
only
have
use
bills
100.
that they owed money on
a
that have
lot,
paid extra?
a lot. This has been going on for a long, long time.
Right.
1.2
So
times
how
the-
much money does that, do they owe in
It's the same thing.
refunds?
And it's
As
always
opposed
somebody else's fault too, John.
You should be
Yeah, I
We've
know.
never found anybody that's accountable for the issue.
4.19. You can put the
This is
decimal point on the
insane.
gallons, or you can put it on the money, either way you want, but same thing.
I don't see why we just can't have a flat rate, 0.0042 per gallon, period.
That's fine. Guys make the motion and vote it.
And so my question was, is
It's $4.19 per thousand that way.
is commercial the same, or do we raise the commercial rate?
It's already up.
Yeah, the commercial.
No, commercial is $4.19.
Well, not now. In this ordinance, it might say that, but
No, in the ordinance we passed in July, it's $4.19. It's $4.19 for the 5,000, 503, and then 603 for 20,000 plus.
I think we could agree that that's pretty messy. This is simple. If you go over 5,000 gallons, you're paying 2 cents, right?
No,
Yeah.
If you're commercial,
Oh, what about a resident?
they're $4.19 a thousand. That's what we were talking about across the board, $4.19 a thousand for the residents.
well, it doesn't sound like Teresa. This is gonna affect, if we don't pass this right away, it's not.
No, it's not. But we just need a mechanism.
What would make you happy?
We need.
Make you happy?
Billing.
Somebody entertain a motion?
well, I'm
Motion or-
just trying to get to, are we keeping 419 for commercial? If you're saying that, because commercial are obviously the higher users. So if you're trying to make up for those multi-users, then that maybe that rate should be a little bit higher. So you have for outside city, it was 595.
I don't want to mess with the rate study is all I'm saying. Because we, you guys spent a time and.
He
effort.
must own commercial
That's
property.
But this is a new one, see, he don't have the gallons, he's doing.
But that's what I'm saying was this rate study, did it have these tiers in there? Did it account for the 503, the 603, the 568, the 663?
So the tiers were added in conjunction with those. I don't think what Todd came up with, from my understanding, had tiers in it.
No, it didn't.
Okay. I think he developed a system without tiers based on.
But I'm trying to get to what the mayor was also trying to accomplish was for these multi-users to pay more and make up some of those fees.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying. So should commercial be a different rate? That's my question.
I think so.
I mean, could it be?
Did you average the three rates, the three commercial rates?
So if you average the three commercial rates, it's 508. If you average the out of city commercial rates, it's 714
Per thousand.
per thousand.
With augmentation?
These didn't say anything about augmentation.
I know we're not gonna fool with
We're
that.
not fooling with
I
augmentation.
was just wondering what
Oh,
numbers we're getting.
I wouldn't touch that.
So if you average the 714 and the 508 together and make that your commercial rate,
There you go.
the I didn't do that math yet.
Should be around 6 something.
611.
Mhm.
So 611. So if you made the commercial rate 611 per thousand.
That's fine by me.
It simplifies everything.
It does simplify
I'm
it,
trying to just flatten
right?
these
Yeah.
You got 419 for the residential, both in and out of the city. And you're gonna do what for the commercial?
611
611 for in the city
for both.
or both?
Flatten them both out. We just averaged, we basically took the average between the two and then averaged them together.
If that's something you guys can agree on, it's just a question of Nick over there amending it, what he said, and redoing the motion. And then you can.
I mean, I think that has the littlest impact on citizens and it slightly accomplishes what utility commission was trying to do. That's my opinion.
But it helps our staff too, because they're not trying to figure out.
Your commercial,
Annual.
commercial in city or commercial out city?
Both. We're like, so what we did is, yeah, so it was 419 for all residential in and out, and then 714 for commercial, I mean, for, yeah, 611 for commercial in and out. So there's two rates, one for residential, one for commercial.
First 5,000.
Nope, it's the rate.
Great.
Per thousand.
Per thousand. And that makes it simple for 3 months, for sure.
I think it could just be the rate going forward. I mean, I don't even think it's a 3-month thing. I think that could be the rate.
Should we vote on the first motion and do another one?
I think you can amend it.
You can amend
You want to be
You
safe.
want to amend it or you want to vote on it?
I'll amend it.
You'll amend it to what Veronica's proposing? You want to state it again?
611 for commercial out of city rates, 419 over 1,000 gallons.
4,000.
So all residential 419 per thousand and all commercial 611.
611. Yeah,
So no in, no out, all the same.
right.
Nick.
So you're gonna leave,
Amend my motion for commercial out of city. Huh?
In and out of city.
In and out of city. $6.11, and water use 419 for 1,000 base.
Residential.
Residential.
Think I got it, Nick.
All right, if you don't call me.
If you don't, Rick, call me.
Yeah, Paul.
replay that back.
Call me.
Is it all, you're leaving them like they were?
Mhm.
Okay.
And we're still
Call
basing
me
it on
at
the.
719-738-1048.
Ronald made the
Call me.
original-
Call me now.
Second that was James.
That's why they're running such a shit show. Why the CBI's up their ass. Why they can't do nothing right.
But we can still change these numbers, right?
Well, this is just the first.
I know it is.
We just want.
I want to make sure we're not locked in.
Help with the building. Let's help stabilize the building.
Because then
And that's what we got to do.
So you're getting rid of the free 1,000.
Not free.
well,
It said.
we're moving it into the 1,000, we're moving it into the base minimum.
Okay.
Okay,
So if you use 500 gallons, you're paying $2. Correct? Okay, that changes that then.
correct.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. Would you reread the motion, please?
Well, Nick said that he wanted to amend his original motion. And make it $6.11 for commercial, both inside the city, outside the city, and $4.19 for residential, both inside the city and outside the city.
And leaving all fees the way they were.
We can always change these before the second reading if we have to.
Some of these is 500 gallons. I thought you were saying minimum of 419 for 1,000 gallons.
I say.
We got an emotion, a motion that says use the 419 per thousand instead. So if you don't use 1,000, you're paying a portion of.
You're paying for your actual usage.
Say the 419 with no extra little calculations.
Yeah, but they didn't like the idea of like, say, 0 to 5,000. They didn't like the idea of paying for 5,000 gallons and not use them. So if you don't pay for 1,000, if you don't use 1,000 gallons, you only have to pay for what you use, is what the motion is.
So a gentleman just said on there, his business only uses 100 gallons. So we don't want to make him pay for 1,000 if he only uses 100.
We'll just pay a partial.
It would just pay based on your usage, yeah.
$4.
$2.08.
Yeah, so is it worth that first 1,000 to complicate the training and the?
I don't think it complicates. That's how we used to do it. That's how the city of Walsenburg used to do it. To have one rate based on your usage.
Using the same rate across the board.
Water, because I didn't use 1,000 gallons and I still don't use much more than that. But I'm willing to pay the $4. It was the 21 for 5,000 that I don't come anywhere near 5,000. The two of us.
Joe, does this?
This is better for you.
Charge you for what you don't use.
Does that get you where you want to go?
Does this get you? Are you talking about $4 on the minimum? And whole
$4 1,000, starting with 0 gallons.
for 419, 1,000.
Yeah.
Starting at 0 gallons. Yes, that will get us there.
And that'll
Get rid of the-
work with Casell.
That'll make it easier for them.
I think the question here is if you go under the 1,000 gallons, do you break that 1,000 gallons down?
Yes.
Yes.
$3 or something?
Yes.
Yes.
If you use 1,200,
So it's point.
How it was.
No, I understand that, but there should be a minimum.
190 per gallon.
Thank you.
it keeps it. You multiply 419 every time, you don't have to think. If you want to convert that to cents, however you want to do it, but.
Yeah, 0.00419.
It's the same thing as 419 per 1,000. Okay, we're good.
Motion. Over the vote. I did.
I think the motion's clean.
Yeah.
Any other?
It's the same thing. 419 for 1,000 is the same thing as 0.00419.
Up with the same answer.
Same thing.
Call for the vote. Call for the vote.
Any other discussion?
No, I'm good.
Roll call.
Ronald Stafford,
Yes.
Nick Vigil,
Yes.
Fred Ecker,
Yes.
Jennings,
Yes.
Alan Martinez.
Yes.
Veronica May.
Yes.
Jerry Manzani.
Yes. You just lowered Rick Colander's water bill.
He did.
Thank you,
Nice, I say.
Councilperson Mays, for making the recommendations and doing the math. Thank you.
Anyone wants to see all my little
Wants to adjourn.
what's going on here?
Motion adjourned.
I have a motion by Rick Jennings, a second by Nick Vigil to adjourn. All in favor? Opposed, hearing none.
This is gonna be.
Keep it dirty, bird.
Be over, so. You're right. Come in.
Or Mike's off.
I'm always here. Okay.
Big showing, big showing. Look at everybody. Woo. Big showing. Trash. Trashy, man. I don't know, John, but that's a fucked up deal. I mean, I know a lot of people were probably more interested in seeing that don't have access to Zoom, but what can you do, right? So.
Not much. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what you're stuck.
Beautiful place. Shit for government, dude. That town and county is just fucking beyond repair, I think. So.
Well, here's
you've seen it. They let those people talk for quite some time, and they were quick to shut me down. And all I was trying to do is get them to let me back in on the Zoom.
Well, I think that's an issue. And here's the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting, because you did have that nurse that came in there and she was asking questions about, how bad the water was. And I didn't hear anybody in that crowd question the water quality. I mean, there was one person that was talking about they were trying to wash clothes.
Well, you do have the clip of the mayor saying it's good. He drinks it. Now, remember, those water tests were going through the same department of the state that just got popped because, because the tests were being manipulated. So I'm sure the water's great, guys. Just ask the mayor. He'll tell you.
Water's fine. Hop on in.
He drinks it. So Yeah, that's what we have him saying, you know, but yet they'll put out warnings that say if you're pregnant or nursing, don't drink the water. But it's fine. It's good.
Well,
He drinks
you
it.
got to remember that warning goes even further because it says if you have an immune deficiency or
Yeah.
poor health
Yeah, it's
condition.
good, John. Don't read that. It's good. It's good, bro. Just
Yeah, it's
drink
all
up.
good.
Yeah, it's a common issue here. We just ignore it. That's the easiest way to fix it. Is just ignore it. You know, don't show up. You know, I mean, there was less than 10 people who showed up to that meeting, guys. There's, I mean, over 6,000 people in that town, and you can't even get 60 of them in the room. Pathetic. But and that's for something that affects them. So just imagine when it doesn't affect them. You know what I mean? So that's why we don't cover Walsenburg very often. But we will be making a trip down there soon to check on their new chief. If anybody didn't know, their new chief is, well, he was under investigation at his last job that he was let go from. They shut down the police department on his way out the door, and Walsenburg picked him up. So we will be checking in with him. And yeah. Let's see what happens. They said February 5th for their next meeting. So appreciate everybody that showed up in here tonight.
I thought he
Pretty
said
good turnout.
February 5th was his meeting with the bank.
I think they have another council meeting coming up. So
We'll see about that.
That's when they're gonna try to get this to the public reading.
Well, here's the other thing, though, is they're already talking about changing the numbers. They settled on the numbers and they're already talking about changing them. So be prepared for that.
Well, you know, and they need money, John, because they owe money out.
Well,
And all the money that they had just keeps disappearing. So they need more money. They're not worried about where it's disappearing to. They just need more. So that's that. That's Walsenburg in a nutshell, man. So Huerfano County as a whole, they can't do nothing to help themselves, sadly. So, but we tried to give them a little bit of coverage on this tonight. So it was all right. There was definitely a couple locals in here watching. So we appreciate everybody that came, but we might as well just end up out of here till the next time, I guess.
I guess. Yeah.
I didn't
Ain't much to talk about with it.
I didn't know that you were ready to go. I didn't have anything set up. I was.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's ain't much to talk about with it, dude. Like, if the people don't care, the people don't care. That's all there is to it. So, I mean, if I was to give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe 50 people in total paid attention to that meeting, and that's with our efforts included. So, and again, that affects all residents and all commercial businesses in the city and surrounding areas, because the surrounding areas also use the city water. So if nobody cares, I don't care either. Fuck it. Get what you got. Like I say, I don't think it's really going to be like, it's not going to be like a huge rate increase anyways. But the fact, I mean, it could have been anything and nobody would really know because nobody's paying attention. So they get that bill. Once they get hit with that bill, then they're like, oh, damn.
You know, I think the funny part about that too is when they get it whacked with that bill, right? After having the bills that were incorrectly being billed to them, that should be even funnier.
Lord High Octane, brother man, at your request, if you remind me the day before, we'll try to make that priority for you. Yes, sir. Los Animas, the city of Los Animas. Check their meeting out here. That's coming up. So we've been getting into a lot of these meetings. You know, seems like we're all over the place, but a lot to keep up with.
Well, and it also seems that it's just far spread far spread across southern Colorado that all of this happens. I mean, just the blatant disregard to the people, we're going to do what we want, is just kind of crazy to me. But it's kind of hard to battle it here, because again, here it's a bunch of small little towns. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's got family connected to everybody. And, it's just so hard, because it's not like you have a large pool of people to choose from. You've only got so many people living in this small border of all these little towns, because a lot of these towns you can't serve on the board, or you can't be mayor, or you can't get in there unless you live in the town for up to like a year and be a registered voter and this, that, and the other. So the people in the surrounding areas kind of get screwed over, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And ultimately, I mean, they need to just get together, right? Like, they're all close enough, small enough, like here, Trinidad, Aguilar, Walsenburg. I mean, they're all right up each other's ass, right? Like, if one farts, the other can smell it, dude. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to work together. So, like, Scales was exposing the fact, like, the Chamber of Commerce is trash. Like, they don't do shit, Like, same with even crossing over into New Mexico. Like, Raton's right there, Like, they're pretty much a part of Trinidad. They're just that close, But they try to keep everything separate. People don't want to show up. I don't think people understand how powerful they are. Maybe I need to give them the benefit of the doubt there, not be so hard on them for not showing up. Maybe they don't understand the power of numbers. I mean, maybe they don't understand that if there's no room to sit and people are standing outside of these meetings, it makes a difference. I don't know. Maybe they do and they don't care. I'm not sure. Second Tuesday of this month, Los Animas, city of Los Animas. So, see if we can't bring that to you guys as well. But Jaglass, have a great night. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for those thumbs up. We was on both channels, so brought to you from both channels. And yeah. Let's see. Thunder Rolls Media said she's gonna call tomorrow. The number's on the screen there too, guys. I mean, if you guys have an issue with me being kicked out of the meeting, I didn't say a word. I never unmuted, nothing. Their claim is I didn't show my face. Okay. So
hold on. I didn't know if we covered this, because again, I went out, I had to use the restroom and the meeting ended on me and whatnot and so forth, and you guys were already talking. So I don't know if this was already covered. So that's one thing I wanted to cover, is the fact that you had John in there underneath initials. You had other people underneath initials. You had people that had only a last name.
They couldn't verify half those people on Zoom, but yeah, I was thrown out. And even when I put my name in, it still would not let me in, because now my account is blocked because I've been removed. So the first half of the meeting, I wasn't able to bring to the people that wanted to see it. And I mean, we had like 25 people in here when I was trying to bring that meeting up. So that was more than they had on their Zoom. I don't know what's their problem. That was bullshit. They're going to wish they didn't do that, because that's against the law. So I don't know what they think they're doing.
I just found it funny, and I hope that the connection was good enough for me to get a clip of that.
Sadly, most of what I had a huge echo going on, right? Because I had this up plus that up, and I couldn't mute either. So, I mean, I couldn't turn the sound off on either. So I had a bad echo in my headset going on that I had to deal with. But I made sure that I brought those points up. And again, I didn't disrupt anything, anything like that. So for them to use viewpoint discrimination, you know, like I say, guaranteed fact that their fucking lawyer, Dan Hyatt, knows who Good Citizen Media is. No doubt about it. We'll call him in the morning and we'll have breakfast with him and talk to good old Dan. It's been a little while. And that way they can be legally advised on what they're doing wrong. Because I did inform them to cease and desist their behavior. So that's publicly. So sadly, most of what I said probably went right over their head because they drink that water. So take that how you want, I guess. But yeah, those words were too big. Prior restraint was probably like, huh? What's that? You know, viewpoint discrimination. Yeah, they probably didn't understand that one either. Dissemination. Yeah, that word was probably way too big for anybody on that council. Just my opinion. Just my opinion, guys.
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I just think between that and the fact that you got all these people that are
they sat right there and interrupted me, bro, the whole time too.
Well, that was because
What's wrong
they
with these
allowed that
people?
guy Heath. There was a guy Heath that was in the.
Yeah, they booted him.
No, they didn't.
No,
he was still there.
I didn't see him up there, but yeah. Again, they let him make outbursts. I never made no outburst. I raised my hand and waited. So just goes to show how trash they are, dude. And they will discriminate. So they didn't want people to see what they were up to. It was huge on social media. That's what got our attention on it. That's the only reason we were even covering it. And they knew people wanted to see it. And so, in my opinion, that's why they threw me out. They're not going to say they didn't know me. That was you people's best buddy sitting up there running the computer. So they're not going to say they didn't know me. That's not going to fly. We have emails to prove he does. So the only thing I can say is that was done intentionally to stop me from disseminating the information. My opinion.
Well, my opinion is that I don't know. I don't even know if it's worth even covering what's going on at this point. I mean,
nah.
That they've already pretty much decided what they're going to do. I mean, they intend to turn around and they intend to bilk people out of their money in order to cover a loan that they can't cover. So the taxpayers are going to pay for it.
Well, and what we're not saying here is the fact that it's going to affect Aguilar now because Aguilar is running off of their. Oh no, that's their gas. I'm sorry, I got mixed up. That's their gas that they're running off of, not their water.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up, you people, because in the last Aguilar meeting, they're behind in their gas bill yet again.
Well, they're behind on their gas bill and they're behind on their rate change. They were supposed to do a rate change like 8 months ago and tabled it and it disappeared into the fold of the tables. But yeah, so they're way behind. The fact that they pay their bill late, so they end up with late fees already, and then on top of it, the town is covering all the extra money that the town's people technically should be paying because the rate change should have went up a long time ago, but now the town of Aguilar is still paying that difference, so they're even more out of money. That's another that was one of the issues that they were having.
Well, let's not forget too that the town of Aguilar was also told that they had to update the lead pipes for the water system. They also have to update the piping for the gas system. So again, no money, all kinds of stuff that they got to deal with, and they don't have anything to do it with.
No, but they've got the money, John. I mean, come on, the stuff's getting done. Augmentation pond should be getting done here pretty soon. Last time,
and let's be real, guys. Let's be real. When it comes to the Walsenburg Water Department, they got that superhero Joe Porass over there, and how could they go wrong, bro? He's there to save the day, I'm sure.
Do you want me to begin with that? Seriously?
Well, I'm just saying
How can they go wrong?
I'm just saying it's the same department. You know what I mean? Birds of a feather flock together, something like that. So it is what it is, man. Bottom of the barrel, just like their fucking new police chief. Bottom of the barrel. Hey, the people allow it. You've seen it. Nobody showed up. No one cares. Why should we? You know what I mean? Really. But everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate those thumbs up. And until next time.
Chicken nuggets.
Later,
Chicken
folks.
Nuggets.
Yeah, it's our time to shine. Show that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stock. Drunk off the goose, yeah, thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts cause I'm too lost. Off the speakers can't even handle me. Even what I got, nobody's gonna drain my energy. And I will never stop. I'm motivated by enemies. Setting up shop so everybody remember me. And no, I am not going through life regretfully. I'd rather work non-stop, what they call incessantly, than work some more jobs just to live life pleasantly. Already got lost in my mind, not a fantasy. I'm getting there. Forgotten soul, so stop, drop, and roll. You lost all control and pop off your ball. I got squat, I fall. I'm not bought, I'm sold. My stock rocks, it's gold. Hey, knock, knock, she hold it. Shit, talk to close. I ain't stopping though. It's hip hop, you know, or is it rock and roll? I'm not dropping down, no, my pockets grow. You can't stop the show, so get rocking up. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never make that. Yeah. I ain't never slowing down, keep on going till I'm down. No, I'm never slowing down, cause we're blowing up now. I ain't never